Hello and welcome to the Film Whisperers, where two movie nerds talk all things film with a contemporary lens. My name is Saj.
And I'm Alice.
This time I thought we should talk about the controversial topic of remake. Do you like a remake?
I don't see the point. I like a remake if there's a point to it.
Okay.
Yeah, which I have a very narrow mind of what actually would make sense to make a reboot. What about yourself?
So, okay, interesting segue. You just use the term reboot. So let's try and clarify this for people watching it. So we have remakes,
Yes,
reboots or revivals, and retellings. Okay. What is a remake?
Well, you tell me.
I would say a remake would be another version of an old film with new actors and potentially a bit more of a contemporary setting.
And a reboot, we'd say, is it's the same kind of universe or same kind of world, but it's maybe different characters. And maybe it's a similar story, but it's different characters.
So the brand exists.
Yes.
And they've just gone, all right, let's just revive the franchise or revive the setting.
Yeah. Would you say even you could have like children in there as well? So the children of maybe the adults, and that kind of brings it to the modern day as well, but it's a different story or it's different characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Compared to a remake where it's pretty much a script just
same story,
recycled. Yeah.
Recycled modern day generally.
Yeah.
It's the modern day.
Yeah. Or a gender swap or And then there's a retelling, which is a source material that has now been not recycled, but the source material is there, but they've made modifications to it. So the best example of a retelling would be 10 Things I Hate About You. So Taming of the Shrew being now retold in a high school setting.
I'd agree. Yeah. It's a completely it's the same. It's usually quite an old source material as well, and then it's just a different take on it.
Yes. Yeah. So so the setting is different.
The setting is different.
Yeah. Sure. So let's be mindful in this episode that we're using the right term, because I feel like a lot of the time people use all those three terms interchangeably incorrectly.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay. So let's talk specifically first about remakes. Yep. So you don't like a remake because you feel like there's no purpose to it.
I'll just preface this by, I don't like a remake or a reboot generally. I don't like either.
Okay.
But we're talking about remakes in particular.
Okay. For now.
Remake generally, I feel like they're just a cash grab, and I don't think that there's enough change in it or that justifies remaking it. It just seems like a money making to me. And I don't know if that's just because I've seen Disney turn out film after film, like just remaking it instead of making a new story, writing a new story. And I think I've just kind of got a bit jaded from that because there's been so many in the last, 10 years, maybe more. So I just get kind of sick of it.
I love a remake, I'm going to be honest. And I think, you talk about purpose, right? I think a lot of the time there's two things that remakes do. It introduces an old subject or an old brand to a new audience, so contemporary moviegoers. And it also takes an old brand and it updates the film to a contemporary setting. And I mean, we talk about things in a contemporary lens on this show, and I think that is important.
We'd love to make one, wouldn't we? Like a film like that. We do talk about that. There are some films which I think definitely warrant it. That's always my question though. If I look at a revival, we find out there's a revival, why are they making it? If it's a new... So
hang on, revival or remake?
Oh, remake.
Remake. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the worst at this. So remake.
Yeah.
There's a few that I like. I like June, and I like... there's a few more. What about you?
The most influential remake, in my opinion, of the last decade would be Ghostbusters, the all-female remake that had Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig. And the reason as to why I'm calling it influential is because when the trailer came out, or even when there was talk about this all-female remake, I feel as if there was this malfunction of the baby boomers, and they just went into this weird, don't you dare touch this franchise that's so precious to us.
Yeah.
And when the film came out, it was a commercial failure, even though, controversial opinion here, I prefer the all-female remake to the original. I think it's way more kick-ass, the script is better, the acting is better, and it's just such a wholesome film. And I feel as if that was probably the first time in the last decade a really well-known brand was impacted by Remake, you know, because, I mean, Ghostbusters has been around in pop culture for so long. People in an English-speaking world, you know, they've gone dressed up as a Ghostbuster. Everyone knows the Ghostbusters, the symbol, you know, the red circle. Yeah, everyone again who has access to the right media has seen it. And because they went after this big brand, I think it was a commercial failure because it was almost like a precious market got touched. But in reality, as I said, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a great film. So that would be one remake to me that I think is really, really great. You know, attitudes of society aside, as in, you know, the Boomer and Gen X generation, it's a great film.
I think I struggle with looking at the past, like the source, the original film, when it is a remake.
Yep.
Especially if you really like that film, it's a really good film. When they do make a remake, and I don't think they've done it justice.
I don't believe the purpose of the remake is to do an old film justice.
Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're saying that you're talking about, because I kind of struggle with that, because I'm looking at the original film and I kind of think there's part of me which just thinks it's lazy writing. Like it's not a new ideas, but I know that they're looking at an old source material and they're creating new ideas with that. I understand that, but I struggle with that. And then how much of it is an artist looking at a director or a writer or someone looking at this piece of work and going, wow, this is awesome. I love this film. Let's make it better, or let's bring it to the modern audience and let's do a spin on it. I do like the fun spins and stuff, but I wonder how many are actually like think they're better than the original, and it just seems so like they're a bit up themselves that they think that they can make something better. Like, for example, we could talk about Psycho, when that was Gus Van Sant remade that film. And he made it like the exact same shot for shot, and it didn't have that spark to it, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions. When I see a remake, I fight with that feeling of all these people, all these awesome minds, and they're just taking this and creating something new. But I guess that is part of art as well, is remaking stuff, and it should be able to just stand on its own. And I think I struggle with that.
Okay.
I struggle with that because I see where you're coming from, but I just always struggle a little bit with that. And with Ghostbusters, better acting, and it was a great story and you enjoyed it. And isn't that the whole point of the film, is that you're supposed to enjoy it? So if you've enjoyed it, then it's been a success.
I am the minority in that regard, though.
That's true. But yeah, that's I guess what you're kind of alluding to, is like the sexism in it. A lot of the remakes, they have put women in the lead. That's been the twist, or someone of color, where it's been, predominantly white and male, especially the big blockbusters of the 80s, which was very macho man, white male, like specific kind of ideal man on TV. So it's cool when they do that. I like when I see that, but it doesn't get me over the line enough to want to watch it. And I'm a big feminist, so I love seeing that, but I still can't be bothered watching the film. I don't know why.
I'm glad that you touched on the gender swap and also the introduction of another race in the lead. So when it comes to the gender swap, did you ever watch Ocean's 8?
Yes.
Did you like that?
It was okay. I didn't mind it.
Okay.
It was a bit of fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then have you seen He's All That?
I have seen He's All That. That was fun too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I genuinely did not like that. I thought it was quite Now that was an example of a film where I thought that was pointless because I guess what they were trying to say was, hey, men go through this as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
And in the new setting, maybe the girl had more power as opposed to the original with Freddie Prinze Jr. I don't know, but
it wasn't as good as the original in my opinion. But then again, that's the thing, we're trying to like disconnect the remake. From listening to you, I am trying to do that, but I do struggle.
Before we got filming, when we were talking about remakes that you liked, that was one that you said that you enjoyed, which was the horror film, It.
Yes. Yeah.
Why did you like that?
First of all, the first shot, it's the technology in the film. It was just so rich, like how it was shot. So immediately I was like, wow, this isn't I think they made, wasn't it a TV movie? Yeah. So immediately it's kind of brought this richness to the film. So visually it was nice to look at. And then I think the story, it just felt clean. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure exactly why I liked it. It felt a little bit more spookier. It was less campy. It felt like there was more at stake, I guess. Yeah, I like that. I like a horror movie because I like to be scared. And there's a lot of horror movies which are kind of more campy, and that's fun. But when I see them with a bit more of an edge, and you're actually worried, and it's actually kind of scaring me, I like that.
Okay, but then hang on. There was another film that you also said you liked, which was Dune.
Yes.
So again, why?
The cinematography again, and also the soundtrack is awesome. I think I hadn't really watched the original. I knew the story. I'd tried to read it a few times, but I hadn't got into it. But watching that, it kind of surprised me how good it was.
Are you saying then if the story is solid and the additional bits like the cinematography and the soundtrack have been enhanced, and I guess with both those films, It and Dune, these are not your stock standard films, right? They were big budget movies. You're more likely to give it a go, give them a chance and like it?
Yeah, I think so. Again, that's the kind of why I always question a remake is what are they doing to the film that makes it worthy of that? So if I think it's like, if they're making a film, they're bringing it to the best technology that we've got currently, then I'm kind of interested. Oh, what are they going to do with that? Because I'm a film nerd and I love all that, all the techie parts of it. To see a film be brought into the best technology, I think that's definitely something that will make me want to watch it. What do you like about it, about a remake? Is it any kind of, it doesn't matter what it is? Or?
Yeah, so let me quickly, I guess let's talk about the remake, the musical remake that happened recently that was an attack to millennials, which was Mean Girls.
Yes.
And I think I would say that was a big brand to us because it was such a big film, and it just inserted itself into pop culture to a point where I think to millennial culture it was just big. And I remember if you saw the teaser trailer, one of the first lines that you see was, "This is not your mum's Mean Girls." And I remember thinking, oh, that was hurtful.
Yeah.
But I still loved the remake. The music was great. And you're taking that concept that was, in a way, I'm going to admit it, it's now outdated. You watch the original, it's a great film, but I don't think people are that mean to each other in high school. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I don't have a family, but the whole thing with the use of language as well. There were so many ableist slurs in the original, and you're sort of showing, well, yes, people are mean, but it's now a different type of mean in high school, and you're sort of, again, like using it to showing that to a contemporary audience. And I guess in my mindset, it's my way of dealing with change, I guess. It's almost like it's almost me going, all right, it is what it is. Let's see how good or bad it is. And we very briefly spoke about films that we would like to see remade. And hypothetically, Legally Blonde, which is my favorite film of all time,
Yeah.
if they were going to remake it, and if they were actually going to do a good job and change things. So, as an example, I've been told that in America, there is a Legally Blonde stage production that exists that features a big black trans woman as Elle Woods. Okay, now that is amazing. Now that is just, that's how you do, I guess, that's one of the ways of doing inclusion in art. If they were to do that in film and make Elle Woods this character that is trans or, or black or, mainly, you're not your traditional, blonde, skinny, pretty, I'll be for it. So I don't know. I feel as if, well, it is where we are heading in terms of inclusion. It's one of the ways that's showing inclusion in film.
I think it's good if it makes people like The Little Mermaid. When you watch the ads, the marketing for The Little Mermaid remake, it was awesome to see a lot of people from different backgrounds really excited to see that Ariel was no longer white. So they were like, she looks like me. Like you'd hear these things, and like I love that. So do I still like the cartoon, and did I watch the remake? No.
You didn't watch the remake?
No. But
why?
Because I know the story. It's boring to me to like, and I know that like the only time I would watch it, I would make myself sit down and watch it, is because of the cinematography and how they've made it live action. But I feel like I get enough of that just watching little clips of it.
Okay, I think Melissa McCarthy as Ursula is well worth the watch, because
I'll just watch that bit.
She was spectacular. At least watch the Poor Unfortunate Souls film clip.
Yeah.
Because Melissa McCarthy that's a hard role to pull off.
Yeah.
And
she got a lot of flack for it.
Yeah,
from what
she
I
did.
Remember.
And I think that's a lot of it was the queer community going, you should have cast the drag queen, which I disagree with, because at the end of the day, she did a great job and she was absolutely amazing at it.
Yeah.
At least watch that one clip to see how good she is. So can we have a quick chat about Disney remakes then?
Yeah, okay, let's go. I think this is why I don't like remakes at the moment. They're all about money, right? They're a huge business. Their product is film, and if they see money coming, profit from a specific type of film, they're going to keep making that film until it stops becoming profitable. And currently, well, for a while now, since maybe Alice in Wonderland or Cinderella, it's been proving that just remaking these old films into live action is profitable.
I'd agree, and I guess that I feel is the ethos of the Disney money-making equation. They just to milk things. So look at what they did with the Marvel universe. I mean, it's been hacked to death, and I feel as if just no more Marvel,
no more,
enough. And I feel as if the stuff that were important to us as kids, your Little Mermaids, your Lion Kings, your Beauty and the Beast, whatever. Maybe this is their way of selling that same story to the next generation.
They could make like the older films when they remake them, then that's kind of fun, because maybe we don't have such a strong relationship. For me, for like Little Mermaid, we don't have such a strong relationship with the original film which they're remaking. So maybe that's makes it okay for me as well, if it's been enough time has passed.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So like Snow White, for example.
Yeah.
That's one of the like old film. What was in the 50s, I think, or maybe even late 40s.
It was the 50s.
Yeah. Enough time has passed, and it wasn't like my favorite film, so I don't mind rewatching that.
Yeah. What about The Lion King? Did you like that, or did you watch that? No. All right. Okay.
What about you though? What did you think? I did watch bits of it.
It was fun, Again, Lion King, to us millennial kids, that was our childhood film.
That is our childhood trauma.
Yeah, and trauma, yeah. And I guess, was it weird not seeing these animals have the same comical expressions in film? Yeah, it was, but yeah, that was also me as an adult now going, but we're not in the 90s anymore. This is not a cartoon. You know, it is what it is. I've seen, I would say, all of Disney's remakes. So
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast, which I didn't think was that good. Aladdin, again, not the best. Now, Aladdin was a disappointment because they had the opportunity to get things right with it, and they missed the mark.
Yeah.
And to me, what was really disappointing to that was I felt as if they just threw every non-white culture at it, and it just became ethnic. I believe the original tale of Aladdin, I think he's Persian, and they could have used that as the backdrop of his race and stuff, but there was a bit of Bollywood in there, and it was just this mess. But then again, The Little Mermaid came out again, which is great as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a hit and miss. And then Disney also did, I guess, what would you call it? Maybe it's a retelling, like Maleficent, Cruella.
Yeah, they did do some pretty good ones.
And they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie was amazing in it.
Talking about a different character's point of view, right?
So it's a retelling.
A retelling.
Yeah. Same with Cruella. No, Cruella, no, that's neat. It's a standalone film because the timeline of Maleficent is the same timeline of Sleeping Beauty. It was just, so it's a retelling.
But it was a fresh point of view,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the same character going through the same, struggles and overcoming them and becoming better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something that I'm
So you like
not
that?
Yeah. If it's a different, say it's a point of view from the bad guy of the film for like a remake, or sorry, this would be a retelling. I'm interested in that.
So this is interesting. I feel as if the way it's marketed and the source material is really important to you.
That's something that I wanted to touch on. It's the marketing. I think the marketing, when we talk about Ghostbusters, the marketing behind it, and the revivals or retellings or reboots, whichever one it is, the marketing behind it, where Mean Girls, for example, you weren't happy with how they marketed it. They said not your mum's or not your mother's.
Mean Girls.
Yeah. And then everyone got upset about it because why do you have to take a stab at the community that made the films live on today? Why?
Okay, yeah, you're right. You've got a point.
Why did you have to do that? And then if they didn't have that type of marketing, then we could just go on and be like, oh yeah, it's Mean Girls musical, fun. Okay, let's watch this. Instead, it's kind of they do it on purpose as well to get people to talk about it, so more people know about the film, and they annoy us, the millennials, which it's a common. Since we were young, it's a common thing that they do, right?
Yeah.
To get people talking about it, to get people writing about it on the internet and things like that. So I think the marketing part of it annoys me. Even with Ghostbusters, maybe I would have watched the Ghostbusters if it hadn't been kind of shoved down my throat. Oh, you should watch this because it's women now and blah blah blah. And I don't know. I think I get annoyed at that kind of stuff, but if I just watch it as a film by itself, then I enjoy it. I think that was like with Ocean's 8. I didn't want to watch Ocean's 8 because I was like, oh, not another one. Can't the girls get a different story, like completely different? So can't they just have a girls heist movie and not attach it to a male box office film, like a box office success? But then when I watched it, I was like, okay, I enjoy this. So I just take myself out of that marketing and why they're telling me the advertising of it and just watch it. I enjoy it. They really push that nostalgia, and then also, oh, look, we're telling this story, but we're, it's with an edge to it, and this is why you should watch it. If you don't watch it, then you don't believe in these values. And it's like, yeah, I do believe in these values, but maybe just give me a new story, and, it doesn't need to be attached to something else. But I understand that at the end of the day, it's a business and they're just trying to make sure there's more bums on seats watching their product, right?
Yeah, and I guess the intent and what the intention as well. So just quickly, we need to wrap up, but A Star is Born.
How many remakes?
Third
4?
one. Yeah, 4, 3, I don't know.
3 or 4? Yeah, well, that's kind of cool. It's like its own thing, right? It's like,
Yes.
all right, so 20 years later, let's see what is Hollywood's A Star Is Born story.
Who is a singer out there, a female singer out there, who we can go, hey, come and be in a film.
It's a tough act to follow, isn't it?
So it was Judy Garland, then
yeah.
Barbara Streisand, and Lady Gaga. And I think Lady Gaga is an appropriate choice as well.
It wasn't, yeah.
Yeah. And so what, this came out in, I think, 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I would say, if they did it now, they might cast a Taylor Swift or a Beyonce. But anyway.
Just give it some time. That's
Yeah,
all I ask.
yeah,
Give it another 20
100%,
years, and then maybe I'll be keen to watch it.
I think that's been a really great conversation,
interesting.
Alice. I think, and let's see what is in store for us in terms of the other remakes, revivals, or retellings that are upcoming.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and I will enjoy every single one of them.
I'm glad you will.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have. You've been watching The Film Whisperers here on Ben TV. My name is Saj.
I'm Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you.